Welcome to the Personal Development Challenge, where we inspire, challenge, and empower you to become the best version of yourself. Today, our guest is already here, and I will let her introduce herself.
Thank you, Steve, for having me on PDC. My name is Wambui Muriuki. I'm a creative storyteller, and by day, I work for the government of Kenya. I'm glad to be here. Healing is an amazing topic that I like to speak about, having been through the journey myself and still on it. So I'm excited to join all of you and talk about what is healing and consequently why and where and how. Thank you so much for having me.
Karibu sana. So the word healing has garnered a lot of attention in the recent years and in the recent times. It is a word that can be used to inspire and also a word that can be used to insult. If someone tells you to move from the events that hold you back to heal and everything else, but someone can also tell you go heal. You know that those are two different dimensions. So why do you think in the recent years this idea of healing is becoming more and more embraced and people are talking about healing everywhere?
Wow. I think we are becoming more conscious and like before, we are, fortunately for us, the millennials and Gen Z have gotten to a place of self-awareness, which I think is a really, really good thing. So now we do know that we don't have to bottle up things and zombie through life. We are actually interested in dealing with issues head on. So over the last couple of years now, healing is everywhere, thrown about, both in serious settings and in less serious settings. So it's that self-awareness that I think it's a miracle of the century, if you ask me. So I think that's why it's gaining.
That's a powerful word.
Yeah.
So I would have stuck there if it wasn't for time, but I like the idea of healing being the miracle of the century, and the fact that we are becoming more aware that we could be more, that we are becoming more aware that maybe things are not the way they are supposed to be, and probably I can get back to my ultimate authentic functioning. And this thing about healing, how would you describe healing? Because from the dictionary it is described as the process of making or becoming sound or healthy again. How do you describe healing?
Healing, first of all, is a journey. It's not a station. I think that's what we are not able to understand properly. Healing is not a place you arrive at. It's a conscious journey you're on. Every single day, a foot in front of the other, baby steps today. So healing is a journey. And also healing, I like to give the analogy for the ball and the square. So a ball is like a square, and the square keeps on growing and growing and growing big. So even the small ball inside, as it keeps on moving between the corners, there's so much space to absorb the shock. So healing is basically, from that analogy, growing around your heart, because the heart is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. It's already happened, actually. But you growing around it, above it, that's what healing is to me.
Are there timelines for heartaches?
No, we don't have timelines. You can't say that I'm going to embark on the journey of healing for a year. I know I'll be okay. It's not medicine. This is lifelong, because you are embarking on foolproofing, for example, your mind against anxiety and panic, your feelings, your emotions. So that won't take a day. It will not even take a year, maybe. But while we are at timelines, I think there's mastery of courage. You know, what is courage? Mastery of fear, basically. You're now a master of this particular animal standing in front of you in form of trauma, in form of hurt. So you cannot say you're completely healed. No. You can't say you've been through therapy for a year, ukosawa, but you can be able to, depending on how hard you work on yourself, the mastery of self will come. It will take time, but it will come. But then we can't give it a timeline. We can't say it will take a year. No.
I think it's because life itself living itself is full of triggers from work, from home, from the shop, from the matatu or from the traffic and everywhere. Life is full of triggers that you need to continuously be in the process of. I like what you've called it, foolproofing yourself from all these triggers so that when they come you can handle them. That's a good definition of that. And so, Madam Muriuki, are there stages that someone has to take to heal? Because I know we will have another section in the next one where we discuss about the whole process of healing. But in a nutshell, do we have some stages of healing?
Wow, we do. And at this point, I'll give a disclaimer. I'm not a professional. I'm not a psychologist like you. Yes, yes. I'm just a person who's taken the journey consciously. The first stage is to accept that actually something is bothering you, something is making you not yourself, and you need to deal with it. There is that stage. And then they are now advancing, moving from I'm a victim, I'm hurt, I'm injured, to, okay, what am I going to do to regain sanity? You start advancing. And then you adapt. You start living consciously, self-aware. You start, being so... You start living here in the moment. So I'd say it's accepting first, then you start advancing, and then you start adapting to, now the new state you're on, the new journey you're on, yes.
Yeah, that's powerful. I read a very short statement that said, be water. And when I followed that about be water, it was talk about water is going downstream and finds a rock. It doesn't stop and wait for the rock to weather out at some point in this life. It finds its way around it. But then the interesting thing is after the water has found its way around the rock, over time with consistency and everything, it still wears the rock at some point, begins to wear the rock out because of that consistent ability to adapt. And I think being able to adapt is one of the human skills that we should all acquire over time.
Yes, over time, and even teach our children, young as they are, because this life is not written on stone. Case in point, we didn't know COVID would come. Then COVID came and we had to adapt to a whole new way of life. And that analogy about water applies everywhere across life. Nature teaches us things and we need to, learn them. And we who are learning them at this age, then, trickle them to the next generation. We owe them that. We do.
That's a powerful one. There's something I was also reading the other day about adversity. Yes, adversity quotient.
Oh yeah, I watched.
Exactly. So we come from a place of IQ, intelligence quotient. We went to a place of emotional quotient, and now they're talking about adversity quotient, which really is about being able to deal with things. And I think then coming from the topic that we are having right now, if you are not healed, then adversity will always take you down.
Yes, it will.
Anytime it comes, Perfect. So. Can one get to a point and say I'm healed, or is it a journey or something?
Truth is, we are all in recovery. Why? Because we are growing on a daily basis. We are shedding some things. We are putting on some weights. We are, transitioning every single day of our lives. So it's not a place we shall arrive at and call it healed stage. No, we are all in recovery. I'm currently doing a reading through a plan called We Are All in Recovery, which is true. And it's also biblical, attaining the mark of perfection, the journey. So we are all in recovery. So we are all recovering from something. We are all picking new things. We are learning new things. We are doing things differently. We are growing. So we are in recovery. Everyone is.
Yeah, you might have mentioned this in the amazing conversation you were having, and would you say then you can have a scale or a way of telling that someone has resumed function, because healing, of course, on the other side is a connotation of resumption of function.
Yes.
And so, can you tell that someone has really healed because of 1, 2, 3 things? Because of what kind of measures or what kind of things can we say, yes, this one has resumed function?
Wow. It's true. You heal, you resume function. Just like when you're unwell, you take drugs your systems start working again.
Yeah.
The most amazing thing about resumption of function where emotional trauma is involved is that it gives your power back. Because what trauma and hurt do, they take power from you. They make you timid, they take your life, they take your voice, they take your worthiness. So if you embark on the journey for healing, what essentially you're doing is that you're giving yourself power back. Now you will find that somebody who probably there was something you had told me about, if you're abused by a person in authority, you will look at every authority figure differently. You will be timid, you will not talk, you just want to be politically right. But somebody who has been reparented or been taken through a therapist, through the healing programs or something of the sort, this person gets their voice back. This person starts to talk. This person says things as they are. This person even feel good about themselves. So people get their confidence back. And power and confidence just go hand in hand. And they are the single most things that will, let you through life because you already know who you are. Essentially, the resumption of function is to be able to feel worth, feel like you're worth something, to feel like you have your power back, to be able to thrive in your environment with this new power that you have. So resumption of function to me is getting your power back, is getting your confidence back, is getting your voice back. Yes. That's what I'd say is resumption of function. It's being self-aware. You can now even tell your triggers as they come from a distance. And it's not today, Satan, not today, Yeah.
Not today.
Yeah, not today, Satan. And
you're
also able to say something I had read on your blog.
Yes.
Keep voice under pressure.
Yes,
you're steady. The way you think, you can calculate how you're going to approach the next. You stop and breathe for a moment and handle things instead of cowing, instead of getting too anxious, instead of panic. That is replaced by confidence. That is replaced by self-awareness. That is replaced by, being proactive.
Yeah. That is so powerful. I wouldn't want to add anything. Your closing remarks as we say goodbye to this one.
Asante sana. Thank you so much for having me. That's for starters. And just to let our viewers know that a lot more is coming because we've said this is a conversation we need to have. It's the miracle of the century. We owe it to ourselves and to posterity. I'd like to just close by saying one statement that I heard from a good psychologist. He said, what you reveal, you heal. What you reveal, you heal. So that I can't wait for us to dissect more. So thank you so much for having me.